Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, I hope you remembered to set your clocks forward or this morning. It is that time of the year. I know most of you probably just let your cell phones do it, but some of you old-fashioned folks like myself may still have a clock or two inside your house, so don't forget to do that. Also, in case you've noticed, I haven't been putting out content this past week at my normal repetition. Live streams and content has been kind of diminished a little bit this week, but it's been for a good cause for at least myself and my family. We've had family here for the last several days from out of state that we haven't seen in a few years, so I took a little bit of a break. Still producing content, still answering 911 calls, still doing community stuff, but just kind of pull back a little bit. So I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just letting you know. And, you know, really what we're doing here, what I do, what most all of you are focused on in the end is really about family and community, which is very much the opposite of what the far left globalists woke really want you to focus on. They don't want you to think about that. They don't want you to be part of family and community. I mean, that was shown so true during the whole lockdown stuff of, you know, just disconnect from family and community and isolate yourself and just trust the government kind of thing. And so that's the reason why I just thought I'd pass that along to you. Have you been keeping up on this thing with Joe Biden and his State of the Union address, where he would not mention and really talk about this Lake and Riley case? In case you've been under a rock for a while, this is a young lady that was brutally attacked and murdered by an illegal, and he just doesn't seem to have any interest in talking about the victim. He wants to talk about the perpetrator and how we have to be kind to this person that did this deed. He wouldn't, in fact, he pronounced the name wrong for one thing. He said her name incorrectly, but then went on an interview the next day, and they were asking him because he had referred to the person that did the attack as an illegal. And he went on to apologize for using that term. Not apologizing really for saying her name incorrectly or not really mentioning her. He apologized for calling the bad guy an illegal, that he's not an illegal. He's just a migrant that's coming here. And went on to say, and I'm paraphrasing in my own words, but that, you know, we've got to fix the problem at the border, which most you and I would say, yes, we agree. But then when you heard what he was talking about, it's not quite the same thing. He said, we've got to make it so that these people can come across the border in an orderly fashion and make it more, you know, orderly and not so chaotic. That we need these people to come across the border. We need these workers, and that's the reason why the economy's doing so well, he says. So in other words, let me translate that for you. His complaint that he's had for a while about the border isn't that there's so many people coming across or that they're coming across illegally and that we have to stop that. It's that, well, we need all of these people and more to come across the border. We just need to come up with an orderly way that they can do so that it's not so congested, so that they can quickly jump across the border and be processed and be released into the United States to be voting and serving in the military and getting government jobs and all the assistance that you and I pay for. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. And the disconnect is so great, but it's even more than that. It's because this is part of the plan, folks. This is part of the plan to destroy America from within. We are being invaded. Make no mistake about it. Most of you have referenced, and all of us have at some point in time, you know, the movie from the 80s, Red Dawn. You know, when's that Red Dawn moment? Well, folks, the Red Dawn moment's been happening for the last few years. We're talking tens of millions have come across the border. 15, 20 million probably is a good estimate, have come across the border in the last 3 or so years. This is our Red Dawn moment. It's been happening. We've been invaded by the numbers of thousands a day coming across the border. Nothing's being done about it, and it's being welcomed. Also, if you notice, not a lot of people are talking about this because they don't think that it has anything to do with this. And it may not, but it may. Haiti, that Caribbean country just south of us, has completely collapsed, at least according to the news. The prime minister has fled the nation, and the U.S. embassy has evacuated everyone but essential personnel. And there's videos out there that it's quite chaotic. I mean, it just looks like some third world nation that's completely gone into anarchy. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is that because it's so close to the United States, I wonder how many refugees are going to start showing up at our border because of that. Already they have been, but I'm sure that there will be many more coming across the border or being just shipped here by plane or boat. Because they need to have a place to be, you know. I mean, it's crazy down there, so let's ship them up here. This has been the mentality for a long time, and we've done this many times before, and never has it ended up very good. I'm not here to put down anyone from another country because of any reason other than there's just not the same... that's not the same ideas here. We're not dealing with the same kind of understanding of society and of morals and of structure, and it's just not the same. And we're importing people and opening our doors to people from third world countries, from countries that have no concept of freedom, that have no concept of liberty, they have no concept of how America works. They're not coming here to be Americans. They're coming here to live off of the system and to really take control, because that's exactly what they're being told in other countries. They can come here and get free stuff and vote and be an American citizen really quickly. And that's exactly what the Biden administration, the far left, the woke, the globalists are all trying to do. This should be a wake-up call, folks. I don't know how else to talk about this at this point other than we are being invaded on a daily basis. This is the most important issue of our time. And it is directly connected to all of the other stuff going on, you know, the European conflict and Middle East and Asia and the failing dollar and the increasing of the gold and the Bitcoin and the BRICS systems, the increasing debt, the social services breakdown in this country, the breakdown of morality and sanity and family and God, the breakdown of just the whole system. It's happening everywhere, and it may not necessarily be happening right where you live right now. It may not be in your backyard or your next door. But it is happening in this country, and it's breaking the system down and will absolutely affect you. You may not even feel it yet, but it is affecting you. Crime rates are skyrocketing. Jobs are being taken by illegals. I was looking at a chart, I believe it was yesterday, showing how there had been about a couple of million jobs that's been added over the last year or two. To the market, except those couple of million jobs were filled by illegals, but yet American citizens had lost about 500,000 jobs. So the job market is being replaced by illegals. It's the same way that's happening in the military. Your sons and daughters and soldiers, American soldiers, are being replaced by illegals. They're being offered citizenship if they serve. And they're being replaced. They're replacing law enforcement in areas. They're replacing government workers. This is absolutely replacement theory here that's happening on a grand scale. And there's never been a nation in human history that's been able to stand after such an influx of any sort. From illegals coming across from another country, from a completely different culture. There's never been a country that's able to withstand that. It is the sign and the signal of our collapse. And I know that sounds so doomsday. Oh, I know, we're just spreading the fear porn. It's an absolute fact, folks. You can do the research yourself. And if you're not preparing for this, if you're not fortifying yourself and your family and your homestead, your community, figuring out how you can be as self-sufficient as possible. I was speaking with a dear friend just this week. We were talking about that, making plans of how as our community here, we can become even more self-sufficient in the coming year, grow more food, produce more things, need the outside world less and less, because it's going to be absolute necessary. For many reasons it could be, you know. Is the food so contaminated you can't eat it? Is it too expensive? Is it even available? Will it take special ID to get it? There's all kinds of reasons why you should be producing your own food. Same way with other things, you know. Are you able to live without certain things that you would normally have? Is it going to be easy? Of course not. But it may get to that point that it's necessary for your survival when you see the things that are happening. It's just a matter of time before the 15, 20 million or more illegals that's crossed the border. It's just a matter of time until someone does some kind of 9/11 event, or maybe smaller multiple things all over the nation. This kind of stuff, I believe, has been happening, and it's just been covered up, but it will most likely happen on a larger scale. I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You just, the numbers just almost prove it. You can't have this amount of people coming across at this rate from these types of countries that they're happening and not expect something to happen. We have to be getting prepared for it, folks. We have to be understanding the threat. And it you know, if someone else gets elected into office in November, that's great, but I don't think that this issue is going to be fixed just by that. The only way to fix it is that for you and I, on our own, to get prepared. There's very little indication that most any government, even these state governments that seem to be opposed to it, aren't really doing a whole lot. I think it's more for politics, for show, because there's a whole lot more they could be doing and they're not. We're watching a slow martial law creep in New York, and that could easily spread across the country with the, you know, National Guard troops in the streets checking everybody. It's an absolute disaster, folks. It is a complete disaster that's happening right before our eyes, and it's already happened. It's just the repercussions haven't quite hit everyone yet. You have to be getting ready, folks, taking it serious, getting your houses in order, preparing in every possible way, self-sufficiency, defense, barter trade, all the things that you can be doing with the people around you to prepare yourselves for this invasion that has been going on for a few years, and that there's no real end in sight at this point. It's time to get your houses in order, folks. You really need to be getting yourselves prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.